Having a practice routine is wonderful until it isn't. This is something about me I don't talk about often. I used to be a fitness instructor. Yeah. And I stopped being a fitness instructor because everything that I was doing felt like a lie. I had this manual. Literally, they gave us a book that we had to follow, and it was a step-by-step routine. I promise, by the way, that this is absolutely relevant to singing, right? Anyway, I had this method that I would teach. It's very rude of my dog to interrupt me. Very rude. Anyway, so I would teach out of this manual, and I was supposed to follow this script again and again and again. And it was great when people first started, but then I would watch people make the same mistakes. Anya, anyway. I would watch them make the same mistakes over and over and over again, and I tried to slow them down to try and address individual problems, and that's actually where I lost quite a bit of students. The problem that I was running into was that change causes a lot of discomfort, and this is one of the reasons I really encourage people to practice in short bursts and not to practice for long hours. I'll give you an example. One of the greatest fighters of all time is Georges St-Pierre. Georges St-Pierre would only ever train for the time interval that it would take to have a championship bout. As you can see here, breaks are important. The rest of George's time would be spent isolating very specific exercises, parts of his body, training reflexes. He got into the nitty-gritty. He was very specific. You see, whether or not we like to admit it, we are vocal athletes. And just like an athlete, we need to pay attention to the nitty-gritty details that'll help us get better and help us, well, prevent from plateauing. Let me give an example that's very specific to singing. Recently, as I was warming up, I felt a little bit of effort. I happened to be live streaming it, which was advantageous because I rewatched it, and here's what I found. I found that I had been straining my back. It was tight, and I couldn't seem to relax. Everything was so stiff and contracted. I had been warming up this way and practicing specifically so I could get to my B flat. And then something happened. I was able, all of a sudden, to expand my back, which I'm kind of doing right now. And what ended up happening was that the B flat was full, powerful, and there. But it was only there for a second. But it did tell me that I needed to work on my back tension in order to successfully get to my goal of a full-voiced, operatic high B flat 4 for the tenor. This isn't just any note. This is a note of great importance. A B flat for a tenor, if I sing that comfortably, that means I go out, audition, and get paid lots of money. These are the money notes. And so I had to do something. I had to, practice what matters. Luckily, in my time, I've been able to develop a list of contacts in my network. One of them is a massage therapist, and the other, well, in addition to being a voice and speech pathologist, is an Alexander teacher. If you don't know what Alexander teacher is, it's fine. Alexander Technique is basically the study of ergonomics. I reached out to both, described where the tension was, what it felt like, and luckily, the massage therapist had an answer. The muscle that was tight for me was the quadratus laborum, and you'll have to forgive me, that's probably not how it's pronounced. But this, right here, was the culprit. The quadratus laborum is very deep in the abdominal wall, or I guess in the back. It's in front of the spine. Very strong muscle, very impactful muscle because of where it's located, and very hard to reach from traditional stretching. Now, while there were some videos on this, in fact, in front of you right now is an exercise for the quadratus laborum, or rather a stretch with a foam roller, but I wanted to get a very deep stretch, and as a fitness instructor, I knew one of the secrets to getting an unbelievably deep stretch. I laid on the foam roller, got a pillow for my head, and I laid down for 30 minutes. When I got up, the level, it was this deep, deep, deep pain, almost like when you get like a surgery and you just feel the incision. It was that deep. It felt unbelievably uncomfortable when I would go to get up. So I knew it worked. Now I could have said, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be mindful of that when I keep doing the same thing over and over again, as I keep doing my piano exercise and my live stream and my content. I'm just gonna do the same thing over again, but a little different. But I didn't, and I knew why I didn't want to do that. I knew better than to do that, because I needed to, say it with me, I needed to practice what mattered. Ignore the ED in the S there. We'll fix that in post? No, we won't. And now, today, the morning after, I can do this. That is me consciously expanding my back. And I just did it again, even more. And then I'm letting go of the quadratus lumborum. How did I learn to do that? After one day? Really? This isn't the first time I've stopped singing and started specifically paying attention to different parts of my body that were getting in the way of me being, I know words, of me being a vocal athlete. So I'm going to bring it full circle. What I'm trying to say is this. Routines are wonderful until they stop working. And also, sometimes we need help. As far as help is concerned, not everybody has a massage therapist in their network or a voice and speech pathologist, but you have me. You have the comment section and you have my Discord, link for that down below. I make myself available to answer these questions because I know that these answers can get expensive if you're just trying to find someone who knows what the hell they're talking about, let alone when you find them having to consistently work with them. So I have those contacts, and I reach out to them for people who join my Discord on the regular. But the point being is this. You need to practice what matters. Routines are fine. If you find one that works for you, keep going until it stops working for you. And then understand why it stopped working for you. This takes a long, long time. And there's really no way around that. If you want to be great at something, like a George St. Pierre, or name your favorite singer. SZA is a really popular singer on this channel. She's awesome. But she didn't get good in one night. In fact, people who followed her for a long time have claimed just how much she's improved. But that takes work. It takes deliberate effort. And it takes not finding yourself getting stuck in the comfort of consistency, lying to yourself, saying, I'll just do it again and again until I get better. Don't get me wrong. If you don't have another option, that's fine. But after watching this video, you absolutely do have another option. And if you don't want to get help from me, here's some ideas. Because I want you to have options. You might not like me. Or you might not like my advice. Or, and this is very possible, maybe my advice doesn't solve your problem. If you're tense, start to stretch. Do tension relieving exercises and start to develop an awareness of your body. Now remember, we're vocal athletes. The body matters. Most of the time, if you're stuck vocal technique-wise, that's a weird way, weird emphasis on the syllables there, but if you're stuck, it's probably having to do with something to do with your body. And that's going to require work with your body. Luckily, we live in a pretty great day and age. There are so many stretches online, and you can probably look in a mirror and start to, I did this when I was becoming a fitness instructor. I would read anatomy books and look at how things lined up and cause and effect, what this did and what that did. There's softwares out there that you can look at that, and you can do what actually a lot of people do. They look at themselves in a mirror, they'll just stand there, and they'll breathe, and they'll say, huh, well, all of a sudden, this shoulder is lower than this. What's going on there? How do I fix that? I just tried to adjust it and it got worse. Huh. Well, maybe this side is pulling this side. I guess maybe I'll stretch that out. That's the sort of process that you're going to need to go through if you're doing this alone, and you don't want to reach out for help. You need to get incredibly specific on the details, like a Georges St. Pierre. Now, there's a big chance that this video is going to flop, but I wanted to make it, because I think it's important. Last thing I want to see anyone who's trying to get better at anything do is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. You won't get it. I could have sat there and practiced and live streamed my going up and down a scale, trying to hit a B flat, until the cows came home, which is actually quite the American expression. But regardless, the point remains that I could have done that. It would have been better for my YouTube channel. I would have had more engagements. But in one day, I found a trajectory for my practice that was a lot more meaningful for my singing. And I think ultimately more meaningful for my students. So yeah, challenge yourself to reach out. Challenge yourself to learn more about your body. And challenge yourself to have short practice sessions that won't see yourself doing the same thing over and over again. And until next time, happy singing.